Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. In today's lesson, we are going to focus on an important skill that many students often struggle with, which is how to present a group report writing properly. Writing a good report is one thing, but presenting it effectively is another skill entirely. Some students may have strong content in their report, but when they present, they either read everything directly from the slides or they do not know how to explain their findings clearly. So in this lesson, I'll guide you step by step on how to present your group report in a structured, clear and professional way. We will use a sample topic, which is students' perception of love relationship during university study, so you can see exactly how each section should be presented in a real situation. Before we look at each section in detail, let us first understand the overall structure of your presentation. A good academic presentation always follows a clear flow. You start with the title slide, then move to the introduction, where you briefly explain your topic or your title. After that, you present the literature review. Next is the methodology section, where you explain how you conducted your research. This is followed by the most important part, which is the data analysis. After presenting your data, you move to the discussion section where you interpret the findings. Then you conclude your presentation by summarizing your study, and finally you give recommendation based on your findings. If you follow this flow properly, your presentation will not only be organized but also easier for your audience to follow and understand. Now, let us talk about group responsibility. In group presentations, it is very important that every member contributes equally. A common mistake among students is that only one or two members do most of the speaking, while the other remains silent. This is not acceptable in academic presentations. In this structure, each member has two responsibilities. First, they must present one theoretical section such as introduction, literature review, or methodology. Second, and more importantly, each member must also present their own data analysis. Each member will handle 3 questionnaire items. This means your presentation is not just about reading theory, but also about explaining your own findings. This helps you understand your data better and improves your communication skills. Let us now look at how to present the introduction section. In the introduction, your goal is to help the audience understand your topic. You should not read everything word for word from your report or slides. Instead, you should summarize and explain it in your own words. Start by explaining the background. For example, in this study, we are looking at how university students perceive love relationships during their studies. You can explain that university life is the period where students experience independence, academic pressure, and social development. Then explain the purpose of your study. For example, you want to understand where students see relationship as positive, negative, or neutral in relation to their academic life. Keep your explanation simple and clear. The introduction is only meant to give an overview, not full details. Next is the literature review section. This is where many students make mistakes because they try to read everything from the report. Instead, you should only focus on key points from previous studies. For example, if one study found that 60% of students feel relationships provide emotional support, you can mention that briefly. In another study found that 40% of students feel relationships can distract them from studies. You can also mention that. You should also compare these findings. Are they similar or different? This shows that you understand the research, not just memorizing it. Finally, always connect it back to your own study. Explain why your research is needed based on these previous findings. In the methodology section, you explain how your research was conducted. First, state your research method. In this case, it is quantitative research because you are using numerical data from questionnaires. Next, explain your respondents. For example, you may have collected data from 100 university students. Then explain your instrument, which is usually a questionnaire. You can briefly mention that it contains structured questions from students' perceptions of relationships. Finally, explain how you analyze the data. In this study, all responses are converted into percentage. This helps us understand the distribution or opinions clearly. Now we come to the most important part of your presentation, which is the data analysis. Each member must present exactly 3 questionnaire items. For each question, you must do 2 things. First, state percentage clearly. Second, explain what it means. For example, if 45% of students are in relationship and 55% are not, you should explain that most students are single. Do not simply read numbers. Your lecturer is not interested in hearing numbers only. What is more important is your interpretation. What does the number tell us? That is what you must explain. Let us look at an example. For question 1, if 45% students are in a relationship and 55% are not, you can say that most students are currently single. For question 2, if 70% agree that relationships are common in university, you can say that relationships are seen as a normal part of university life. This is how you should present. Always start with a percentage, then explain the meaning in simple words. Remember, clarity is more important than complicated language. In the conclusion, you summarize your entire study. You must clearly state what your findings show about students' perception of love relationships during university. Do not introduce new information here. Just summarize and give a final answer to your research question. For recommendations, you must suggest practical actions. For example, students may need to improve time management if they are in a relationship. Universities can also provide guidance or awareness programs to help students balance academic and relationships. You may also suggest future directions such as studying how relationships affect GPA, CGPA, or your stress level. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Hope you can finish your presentation on time and then submit your link on Google Form. Thank you. Goodbye.